You grew up to be the founder of this wretched time, so I plan to destroy your destiny. Easy peasy, rice and cheesy.
Ooh. So if I'm Wilbur's dad...
Keep going.
If I'm Wilbur's dad...
Yes, thank you, we've established that.
But what does that have to do with you?
Aha! Allow me to shed some light on the subject.
My old room.
I think you mean our old room.
What?
Yes, it is I, Mike Yagubian!
Ugh.
I know, I'm disgusting, but one learns to love it.
How'd you end up like this?
Well, it's a long and pitiful story about a young boy with a dream of winning a Little League championship. A dream that was ruined in the last inning. We lost by 1 run because of me.
Get him! If I hadn't fallen asleep, I would have caught the ball, and we would have won. Do you understand?
For some reason, no one wanted to adopt me.
Whiz kid Cornelius Robinson graduates from college at age 14. This year's Nobel Prize goes to a young Cornelius Robinson.
Hey, Goop, what's up? Cool binder.
Hey, Goop, wanna come over to my house today?
They all hated me. Eventually, they closed down the orphanage and everyone left, except me.
Cornelius Robinson rebuilds inventor. Robinson, new name. Cornelius Robinson anymore. Cornelius Robinson is now going to be working on it. Another
It was then that I realized it wasn't my fault. It was yours. If you hadn't kept me up all night working on your stupid project, then I wouldn't have missed the catch. So I devised a brilliant plan to get my revenge. Robinson, you stink! Then, just as I was on the brink of destroying Robinson Industries, I met her. We retreated to our villainous lair, where Doris spun a tale of deception and woe. Apparently, you invented her to be a helping hat, a slave to humankind. But Doris knew she was capable of so much more. However, you didn't see her true potential. Got it! So you shut her down. Or so you thought. We both had a score to settle with you. And while my plan for revenge was brilliant, Doris's was... well, we went with Doris's. But I made a very, very important contribution. Together, we made the perfect team.
Wilbur, make sure you shut that door tight or else the alarm won't engage.
Yeah, Mom.
I went to your house, snuck in the garage, and stole the time machine. All thanks to that pointy-haired little kid who forgot to lock the garage door. And now all that's left is to return to InventCo, where I'll pass off your little gizmo as my own.
But you have no idea what that could do to this future.
I don't care. I just want to ruin your life.
Goob, I had no idea.
Shut up! And don't call me Goob! How many evil villains do you know who can pull off a name like Goob? Bleh.
Look, I'm sorry your life turned out so bad, but don't blame me. You messed it up yourself. You just focused on the bad stuff when all you had to do was let go of the past and keep moving forward.
Let's see. Take responsibility for my own life or blame you. Ding, 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 ding! Blame you wins hands down. This is gonna be the best day of my life.
Meet the Robinsons is one of the most stupid stories I've ever watched, in the sense that we all have issues that go against each other. It's normal to try to think about others and help them. In the stupid story, that person doesn't get help. Is tired and fails that game, then gets beaten the shit out of them. Brain damage is one thing that can cause cluster B personality disorders, but it's much more natural thing. It's not just saying causing a disorder. Your brain is struggling, you're struggling, you're in pain, you can't process things, people abuse you because you also don't process things and you make mistakes. That person was tired, and when someone is weak, he got abused. Well, the person who is kind of responsible for that, of course all of the abusers are responsible, gets to live and improve. He progresses science and builds an incredibly materialistic home for his own family. You don't see a single person that he has helped there. He didn't take anyone off the streets. He didn't build anything for the homeless people or whatever. It's completely dissociated from any kind of empathy. Anyone who has a brain sees that this person only ever cared about gratifying himself and the people who already had it easy. There is absolutely no awareness in this show, no proper representation of mental health. It's kind of, but like when someone has whatever health issue, you are supposed to help them. I know more sick people who have helped people than healthy people, so to say. The truth is that the healthy people often are unhealthy, they're just unhealthy and take their issues on someone else in ways that are socially acceptable. For example, people getting overly aggressive at him for making a mistake can be itself a sign of cluster B personality disorder. Whatever it is, this is not a reaction of a healthy human to hurt someone like that for making such a simple mistake. Yet it's actually not that uncommon. It's also kind of spoiled. People are used to getting things their way. I don't like to say spoiled because someone who always has things bad happening to them can overreact to this too. But a lot of people are being spoiled and think that something small is the end of the world for them because they didn't get what they want. On the other hand, it's because they are submitting to their toxic parents and other powerful figures in their life. But now that someone is weaker and different than them, they can take it out on them. In that sense, those people didn't take responsibility for their own lives. And what is that saying to someone who went through hell when they want help and you got everything? You should take responsibility for your own life. And he says it in such as if he has empathy and this is the right thing to do way. It absolutely sounds like what a psychopath would tell you after he destroys you. I'm sorry you went through that, but it's not my problem. Deal with it. Take responsibility. Simultaneously, a lot of people are actually aware and compromising themselves for others. Because of course it's the thing that you do when you want to function together. Because everyone has issues and we have to try to get along somehow anyway. When they... like, the fact that he was working for himself without regard for the other person shows that he himself wasn't taking care of his own responsibilities in life. You can't have a bunch of people making others suffer for them to progress in materialistic ways, like they don't do anything for anyone. He improved society, but again, for who? People in their materialistic ways, telling you to take responsibility for your life. Like, he didn't abuse anyone all that time, yet he was abused by people who tell him to take responsibility. They didn't take their responsibility. What if someone beat the shit out of Robinson as he was working on that thing? He got brain damage and failed to do it then. He wouldn't have anything. It's also of course stupid to beat the shit out of someone and then invite them to play games at home. Like, what do you mean? And of course not everyone will get affected the same by any beating, and not anyone can return you the same beating. Like, oops, I just beat the shit out of a person. Oops. Not to mention, most people are terrified of actually helping anyone because they think you might be a murderer. You might be dangerous. So, a lot of those people who abuse him probably grew up not taking care of anyone ever. And imagine them claiming, what if you're dangerous? Like, someone beats the shit out of you, only lives for themselves. See someone struggling and thinks, what if they're dangerous? They're dangerous. There is a slave mindset maybe that is also away from taking responsibility. If someone abuses someone, people, like, if another person got abused and they weren't vengeful, despite having issues, as I said, they will abuse someone else and they may subordinate to their abusers. If you get abused and you're weaker, it can be assumed, those people can assume they have such mindset or whatever, that they deserve it, or that's just how things are, and they take their place in the hierarchy and they expect everyone else to take their own. Which includes letting some people be abused until death. People also act like if someone gets abused, there is nothing to be done. Like, you can't support a person, you can't help a person, there is absolutely no emotional development or anything. I've seen people argue about the most stupid, pointless, basic, mundane things and abuse each other over really mundane things. And I do recognize there may be sometimes mundane seeming things that are actually really important for whatever reason. Or there may be a history of abuse that makes the mundane things now a big thing because of context. But I don't mean that alone. Unless you mean, of course, those people not wanting to solve their own mental and whatever issues. Because a lot of people do get angry at mundane stuff because they don't want to solve their own issues. I'm not saying those that get angry at mundane stuff who haven't solved their own issues because they are in a bad situation or keep getting abused. A lot of people are just genuinely selfish and lazy. I'm sorry I can't help anyone. I'm going out with my friends. Sorry I can't help that person. I have work to do. Sorry I can't help that person. I have to play a video game. Sorry I can't play that person. I have to watch this movie. Most people don't have any reason not to help. Really. They don't. Again, I recognize people have issues, but most people do not recognize what issues there are. They don't try to see the whole thing. They don't try to learn about others. They don't try to think about others. They just want to gratify themselves, and they have never cared about others that much in the first place. What kind of a response is take responsibility for your own life after destroying someone? Not to mention, the kid may have been sick some way that you don't understand, thus also making the pain much worse and much harder to adapt to anything. Most people never think that they have never been in that same situation ever in their lives, and sometimes they attribute that to deserving it. Why is that kid has grown up become a villain and sick? He looks sickly because he made bad choices, and they made all the right choices, and they're doing well because they made the right choices. This is a superiority complex, has nothing to do with reality, and of course very often the people who wear good clothes, who are in good health, superficially at least, who do well, who act normal, are often psychopathic. So what those people are basically saying, I don't care what issues you have, I don't care what kind of way I'm affecting your health. I refuse to regulate myself, my own emotions and my own desires. I will step over you, I will blame you for it. And despite that I'm privileged in so many ways, I will not help you. And not only I will not help you, I will actively do things that make everything harder for you. And to top it off, they make theories that those people deserve to die. There is also something incredibly narcissistic in itself about that people who achieve progress are themselves some kind of like everything is right with them, they have no issues, or if they do, they are minor, or they are sympathized with. Series also showed us a bunch of adults rejecting the kid for expressing his emotions and experiences, his issues. There was nothing particularly scary or impressive about it, and this just makes me think, how have those people made it to adulthood when they can't handle the emotions of a child? And again, this is why I'm saying most people don't seem to have the emotional regulation they should have had as children, as adults. They scream, they go insane, they threaten over absolutely stupid, pointless, meaningless, mundane things. And this also of that, like, imagine raising someone, telling them you love them, something bad happens to them, and then you get rid of them. Same thing is happening is actually in relationships too. Because you don't actually care about the person, you just want to self-gratify yourself with them. Of course, I'm aware a lot of people become toxic because something happened to them in ways that aren't exactly justifiable.